The prison lights flickered once, then steadied into their usual cold, sterile glow. The guards had gathered outside the reinforced cell, their faces lit with cruel amusement. Inside, sitting on the edge of the metal bed, was Captain Elias Ward, the only human in the Dominion stockade. "Open it up," one of the guards said. The door hissed and they dragged in something heavy, wrapped in chains, covered with a black containment shroud that pulsed with faint violet light. "Congratulations, human!" sneered the chief warden, a scaled creature with eyes like molten glass. "We thought you might be lonely, so we brought you a companion." The shroud fell away, Elias's breath caught. It wasn't a companion. It was a corpse that almost still breathed. The creature, no, the woman, was tall, her limbs long and slender, her skin a dull gray-green that once might have shimmered. A crown of bioluminescent tendrils drooped from her head like wilted vines. Her eyes, half-lidded and dim, glowed with the faintest trace of blue. "She was a queen once," said the warden, almost conversationally. "Queen Zeratha of the Veln Dominion. But your kind burned her fleets to ash. So we thought," his grin widened, "you'd appreciate the company." They laughed as they left. The cell door sealed shut. Elias stared at the motionless form on the floor. He could still smell the acrid tang of the tranquilizer gas they'd used on her. A faint pulse trembled at her throat. He knelt beside her. "Hey," he murmured softly, "you're safe now. Or, well, as safe as I am." Her eyes opened, slits of pale blue that shimmered faintly in the dim light. Her voice, when it came, was broken glass wrapped in velvet. "Human," she rasped. "Kill me!" Elias froze. "What? Kill me?" "Let me end in honor, not mockery." He looked at her, the regal angles of her face, the proud lines of her jaw despite her weakness, and something inside him clenched. "No," he said simply. Her pupils contracted in disbelief. "You dare, I dare," he said more firmly. "Because I've been where you are. Broken, beaten, humiliated. But if you were a queen, then act like one again. You don't get to give up." For a long time she stared at him, this fragile, scarred human in a prison jumpsuit, and then, slowly, she closed her eyes. "Then leave me," she whispered. "I can't," he said. They locked us in together. The next days were quiet, or rather quiet except for the noise in Elias's mind. He'd fought in the war against the Veln, monstrous, beautiful creatures who had enslaved half the galaxy. But he'd also seen the footage of their homeworld burning after the retaliatory strikes. He had orders. He'd followed them. And now, sitting across from the last of their queens, he wondered if they'd made a god bleed or just killed something sacred. She didn't speak for 2 days. Elias spent the time scavenging what he could from the cell, a cracked water dispenser, a small thermal panel he managed to pry open and jury-rig for heat. When he brought her a cup of warm water, she didn't move. "Drink," he said. She turned her head away. He sighed, crouched, and pressed the cup gently to her lips. For a moment she resisted, and then instinct took over. She drank. When he pulled the cup away, she glared at him. "Why?" she asked. "Because someone once did the same for me." By the 5th day, she spoke again. "I don't understand you," she said, voice steadier now. "Your kind destroyed mine." "I didn't start the war," Elias said quietly. "But I finished it." She studied him, the way one might study a strange insect that defied all known laws of biology. "And now you pity me?" "I don't pity you," he said. "I recognize you." Her tendrils flickered faintly. A Veln expression he guessed meant curiosity. "Recognize me? You're a soldier," he said. "You fought for something." "You lost everything." "So did I." Her gaze softened, ever so slightly. That night, she asked for his name. Weeks passed. The guards rarely came, except to throw in food or jeer through the bars. They called her the alien witch, and Elias the xeno-lover. They expected them to tear each other apart. Instead, they found a rhythm. He talked. She listened. He told her about Earth, about rain and oceans and how light smelled after a storm. She told him of the Veln gardens of Nithra, where the bioluminescent trees sang when touched by the wind. Sometimes she laughed, a low, thrumming sound like music underwater. Elias found he liked that sound more than anything he'd heard in years. Her strength returned slowly. The gray of her skin deepened to a subtle emerald hue, and her eyes brightened until they shone like twin stars. She began to hum to herself, strange, harmonic tones that resonated through the cell walls. One night, Elias woke to find the cracks in the floor glowing faintly with the same light as her tendrils. "What are you doing?" he whispered. "Remembering who I am," she said. "My people's song is not yet dead," he smiled. "Good, keep singing." It was the 32nd day when the guards came again, this time with intent. The warden stood outside the door, smug as ever. "I'll be honest, human," he said. "We didn't think you'd last this long. You must have quite the tolerance for misery." Elias didn't answer. "So here's the game," the warden continued. "The higher-ups want a spectacle. You two fight in the arena. The winner lives. The loser feeds the hounds." Zaratha rose to her full height. Her crown of tendrils flared with cold fire. "You want a queen to perform for your amusement?" The warden smirked. "No. I want to see the galaxy's greatest warrior die by a human's hand." Elias's stomach twisted. "I'm not fighting her." "Then she dies anyway," the warden said. "Pick your tragedy." They left them to decide. Elias sat with his head in his hands. "We can't win. If we fight, they'll kill us both anyway." Zaratha was quiet for a long time. Then she knelt beside him, placing one clawed hand on his shoulder. "When I was crowned, the High Singers told me a prophecy," she murmured. "They said my fall would come from fire, and my rebirth from mercy." He looked up at her. "What does that mean?" Her lips curved faintly. "Perhaps that I was meant to meet you." The arena was carved into the heart of the prison, a pit of metal and light, filled with soldiers, slaves, and spectators. The roar of the crowd was deafening. They threw Elias and Zaratha into the center. Weapons clattered at their feet, a blade for him, an energy whip for her. The warden's voice boomed over the loudspeakers. "Fight!" Zaratha stood tall, whip coiled at her side. Elias raised the blade but didn't move. "Do it," she said softly, so only he could hear. "Strike. Let them think you've killed me." "I can't." "You can," she said. "And when you do, trust me," the crowd chanted, growing impatient. Elias met her eyes, those brilliant, defiant eyes, and nodded. He lunged. The blade flashed. Zaratha gasped, then fell to her knees, clutching her side where the blade had nicked her skin. Blue blood dripped onto the arena floor. The crowd howled in delight. Elias dropped to his knees beside her, whispering, "I'm sorry." She smiled faintly. "Don't be." Then her tendrils exploded with light. The arena went silent. The glow spread from her body, coursing through the metal, racing up the walls, into the lights, into the systems. Alarms blared. The crowd screamed, "She's channeling the core!" Someone shouted. Elias grabbed her hand. Zaratha, her voice was like thunder and song at once. "You gave me back my strength, human. Now I will give you freedom." Energy surged. The cell locks melted. The guards' weapons failed. Every door in the facility burst open. When the light faded, she stood, her wounds closed, her form radiant and terrible in its beauty. She turned to him. "Come with me," she said. He hesitated. "Where?" "Anywhere the stars still burn." They escaped that night, through corridors filled with chaos and smoke. Zaratha led him to the hangar, where an old Dominion skiff lay half buried in dust. She touched the hull and the ship came alive, recognizing its queen. As they lifted off, the prison below them erupted in flame. Elias looked back only once. "Where will you go now?" She smiled. "Where I am needed." The Velner scattered, some but not gone. "I will find them, rebuild." He nodded slowly. "You'll make them proud again. And you?" she asked. "What will you do, human who showed mercy to his enemy?" He smiled faintly. "Follow you, I think." Her laughter filled the cabin, soft, bright, and full of life. "Then come, Elias Ward. Let us build something greater than empires." Years later, in the far reaches of the Orion Spur, they spoke her name again. Not as a curse, but as a legend, Queen Zaratha the Reborn, the Star Queen. And beside her, the human who lifted her higher than anyone else. They said their alliance birthed a new age, one where Veln and human ships sailed together, where empires were rebuilt not on fear, but on forgiveness. And somewhere, On a quiet world of glass oceans and silver skies, a man and a queen walked the shore at dusk, watching the twin suns sink beneath the horizon. She turned to him, eyes shining. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "That you spared me?" He smiled. "Never. You were the best mistake I ever made." Her tendrils glowed softly. "Then let us keep making them, together." And as the night fell around them, two distant stars, one blue, one gold, burned side by side in the endless dark.